Welcome back. We are joined by the great Chris Whittingham, who was once executive producer of this show. He also wears glasses, so I would like you to be able to confirm or deny that Dan Le Batard's glasses are fake and they don't actually magnify anything or improve vision at all.
Just fog.
It's just because he wants them to fog up. It makes them look cute and intense.
You think that's a cute look? I don't think it's a cute look. I've also seen Dan's glasses up close. A lot of thumbprints on them. And so I don't feel like you'd go through the trouble of looking through thumbprints that much if you didn't need them. I've also, I'll hand him a stack of papers and then he'll put the glasses on. So unless it's a full performance, which I don't think Dan capable of in that respect, I think that they are real glasses.
Witty, there's not one prescription on it.
Yeah, it's tough. They do have food on them, though, so maybe they're just for protection.
How can you tell that they have prescriptions on them?
Well, when we put them on, we can't see.
Oh, okay.
More importantly, we wanted to have you on to talk about footy. All right. So you got some beef with Cristiano Ronaldo's performance in the Euros so far. What do you got to say about that?
Yeah, I got the Ronaldo fanboys upset at me, didn't I? So basically, after watching their performance in the Euros, he scored 0 goals. He's 39 years old, and I was really frustrated watching Portugal because they're an amazing team. If you look at their group of players, they might be right up there with the very best teams of the tournament. France, England, Spain, and they just did not look like it at all. And it seemed like the entire time they were in service of Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think it should be the other way around. When you look at the comparable talent between the other players and Ronaldo, he should be servicing them. He should be trying to fit his game around them. And instead, they're pumping in crosses. He's crying at halftime of extra time in the Slovenia game in the round of 16. He's taking penalties and missing them. He served almost no function in this team, and yet somehow he was untouchable. The manager couldn't sub him off, and he was the star of the show the entire time. That makes no sense to me, given where he's at in his career. I understand everything he's contributed to Portugal and growing the profile of Portugal in the world, but at this point, it's time for him to go. It was time for him to go 2 years ago, and somehow still the Portuguese national team thinks this is all about Ronaldo. Guys, it's not. It's not anymore.
633. Do you know what that number is? Witty, does that number mean anything to anyone in this room?
I believe the number of career goals that Cristiano Ronaldo has scored.
I believe it's the number of millions of Instagram followers he has as the number one, not Kardashian, not Taylor Swift. Ronaldo is the single most popular person in the world, not in sports, more than the king. Therefore, he has earned the right that he gets to decide when he hangs them up.
By accruing Instagram followers?
Yes. Popularity wins the day.
He's hot.
Every time.
So hot.
And let's not forget, he's only 39 and looks really good still. So in that Portugal uni, I believe that everyone will always service him until he steps away.
That got real explicit.
He's not good. He's not good anymore. Or at least he's not good at this level anymore. And he demonstrated it over and over again. And at a certain point, this is a sporting competition, not an Instagram competition. And it seems like he is dead set on playing all the way through to the 2026 World Cup. He's gonna be 41 years old, running around out there because he's got Instagram followers. Like he's gonna try and Tom Brady this thing without winning anything like Tom Brady did. Like it's over for him at top level.
Also Diana Taurasi in this thing. But salute, back to you.
Witty, Pablo Torre here, guy whose swagger you jacked. I have a question about what the Cristiano Ronaldo fanboy is like. How would you characterize his army of fans? What distinguishes them? Because I'm not native to this part of the internet, apparently, and there are 633 million of them or whatever.
Did you confirm? Is that the number, Chris?
Confirmed.
Thank you.
So to answer your question, I think the Ronaldo... So basically, the soccer internet has divided itself amongst Messi people and Ronaldo people. And everything is viewed through the prism of that one singular sports debate. There is a whole other segment of people that just don't engage with that. But amongst the fanboys, there is certainly a section of Messi supporters too. But the Ronaldo fans, they're armed with a full amount of talking points. Like this is politics. where they go, he scored this number of goals in the Champions League knockout round. He's won this, he's won that. What has Messi done? And then the Messi people will go, well, he's actually scored goals in the World Cup knockout round. That's actually one of my favorite stats. Cristiano Ronaldo in 4 World Cups has never scored in the knockout round of the World Cup. It's fairly remarkable. But when you look at that debate, I think that's everything. And so it was about Real Madrid and Barcelona, and now it's about these two people, how they are aging. And everything is viewed through the prism of, how does this suit my argument in the debate? How does this suit the way that my worldview? Because they also represent two different things. Ronaldo has more Instagram followers than Messi, despite, in my opinion, Messi being a better player, because Ronaldo represents something. He represents the right. He represents also he represents that look. He represents that you pop your chest out and you stick it out before a free kick and you go, before you take a big free kick in a big game, and it's about aura. It's about all these nonsense things. And so as a kind of person that likes an individualist in the world, whereas Messi is this demure, team first, helping others, creating for others, and helping to lead his team. They represent two completely different things. I get the sense that
Witty's a Messi guy.
What makes you say that? Messi's a team-first guy. It's all about Miami.
Since Witty's a Messi guy and Ronaldo is no longer participating, we can go ahead and talk about Argentina in the Copa because they are still playing. What should we be excited about for 8 o'clock tonight where they take on our continent mates? I guess South America versus North America. Who are you rooting for in this one?
So I'm probably going to root for Canada in this one. And despite this scurrilous accusation that you think that I can only be a Messi guy, he has not been good at this Copa America.
That's a pretty Messi guy bed behind you.
He has not been good at this Copa America. He has been injured in this Copa America. And there's some legitimate conversations about whether or not his level has fallen off. Now, he does have the ultimate argument winner, which is that he won the last World Cup and he can round himself into form, because the thing about Argentina is we don't really know much about this Argentina team because they haven't played anybody. Their group was a joke. Their knockout round thus far has been a joke. They haven't played anybody. All of the good teams were on the other side of the bracket. So realistically, they had their ticket for the final in Miami basically already punched before the tournament even started. They just got to beat, at this point, one of either Uruguay or Colombia in the final in Miami, and they could potentially win another major tournament. But really, we don't really know what this team looks like. Messi has not been great, but against Canada tonight, they probably played their best game of the tournament against Canada that second half in the opening game of the tournament. So I think that Argentina will probably win tonight just because they have a lot more talent, but I don't think we know a ton about them at this moment.
Lads, while we're talking about the beautiful game, let me remind you that with not one, but 2 massive soccer tournaments happening right now, our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook have an offer for all customers. That's right, David, all customers. When you place a pre-match 3-way moneyline bet on a team to win only, if that game ends in a draw, you'll get your original bet back as a bonus bet. Euro 2024 or Copa America only, pre-match moneyline bets to win only. Max reward varies, opt-in required, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
What a read. That
was breathy.
What an EP.
Couldn't catch my breath through the whole thing.
You had it almost right.
I read it correctly, but the breath was way off.
You have to figure out when you're going to pause on those reads.
Thank you, David.
He did that. He confirmed the number of total Instagram followers.
And he got music for JuJu.
Actually, while we were talking, I refreshed. It's actually 634 million now.
Wow. On top
because of this show.
Picked up 1 million during this interview.
Witty, is it the
it could have been one though.
Definitely what happened instead of Chris just totally not checking.
Is it are you really broken up about the U.S. team not making it out of the group stage? Because you strike me as a bed maker, and the idea that your bed is unmade right now.
Can you tilt your camera down a bit? Because I don't know if the people on YouTube and the DraftKings Network can necessarily see just the mound. There it is.
Yeah, that seems. It seems like you're stressed. Are you stressed? Is this a Berhalter?
No, I'm not stressed. I got into Atlanta at around 1:30 in the morning last night, so it was definitely a late rise for me, and I had to grab a shower. So unfortunately, I was not able to make the bed to the satisfaction of the Le Batard audience.
So
there are a lot.
Nice hotel. What hotel is that?
But also, none of them are good. I wish hotel pillows were better.
Magic City tonight, bro. Magic City. Wings?
Good wings?
Nothing.
Man,
No.
we broke Whitty.
No, I will not be visiting. I'll not be visiting Magic City after my game in Kennesaw tonight. I will be staying in the lovely surrounds of Kennesaw, Georgia.
Would it shock you
Salute
to
to the
know
Owls.
that I do not unmake a hotel bed, that I slip into it?
Bruh, me too, bruh. Okay, I'm glad we're here. I keep a extra suitcase. I got a carry-on suitcase with just comforters and this trophy in it for here. As soon as I get here, I go into the secret closet, go to the room, put that on top of the cover because spring break here at the Elser seems wild, according to my sheets a couple of times ago. And so I never touch these sheets. So, bruh, David Sampson, you are a mensch.
Wait, you like slide in? Like, what's
So,
the visual of
You guys
this?
don't unkick. I gotta get those tight covers out of here.
What Whitty
Right,
is
because
doing-
they're pinned underneath the bottom of the bed, and so
Exactly.
you can't fully elongate your legs. You
gap.
gotta get it swept out so you can have some room to operate.
I'm 65 inches.
Hell yeah.
I don't have any issue with elongating my legs.
Who describes their height in
Staying
that
away from that
fashion?
Somebody for whom the inches are more impressive than the feet.
What was on your sheet when you got here?
Oh, it was okay. This was a couple of times ago, and it was while I was putting my sheet on top of it. I got a sheet and then I got a comforter. I was putting it on. I was like, "Wait, what is that red dot on the white cover?" And so I took that cover off and threw it under the damn bed, well, under the closet thing. You feel me? And I just, it's so disgusting.
Would you
Salute to
rather?
spring break.
Would you rather a red dot or a white dot on your sheets?
Put it on the poll.
Chris Whittingham, something, soccer, Spain and France. Who
David
you got?
Sampson is spasming.
I can't believe Whitty's room. I'm happy for you, Whitty. Hey, do you ever go to the Stanford studio for Galazzo?
What are
Yes.
we doing?
I don't know.
So we're letting Whitty go. He's got stuff to do.
We're letting him go. Let him go.
We have to let him go.
Go
He's
for
got
it.
stuff he wants to
I like
do.
Spain today. Spain.
Spain.
They're a good team.
Oh, good pick.
Also, red dot or white dot on your sheets. What would you prefer?
Probably red.
Love you, Whitty.
I think I go white.
Love you too, lads.
You can catch Whitty on CBS Sports Galazzo and Apple TV.
Thank you, sir. Well
Thank you,
done,
Whitty.
Whitty.
Thank you, Whitty.
Bye.
I don't care what color the dot is. If I see a dot, I'm switching rooms, maybe hotels. I cannot bear the thought of that.
I've only
Me
switched
three.
hotels one time in my life. It's
Because of dot?
The carpets were damp.
That could be condensation.
It was in
from air
Orlando. I went
conditioning.
cheap on the hotel. It was like it was years ago when I was and I was at some I don't remember what the hotel was, but the floors were damp.
What movie did you watch last night?
Yesterday, I watched Dancer in the Dark.
All right, loved it.
It's an intense movie. It's with Bjork. I haven't reviewed it yet on Nothing Personal, but we could do a movie review segment. We have a WNBA segment.
I mean, we got two Jews
have
cutting it
all
up. at the
Wait a
same
minute, hold on,
time.
wait a minute. Is that, what's that sound? That musical sound I hear. What is that very catchy musical sound that
Pavlo.
an executive producer may or may not recognize?
We still got to do your top 5 at some point.
Hey, we inside. Look, and this is what I'm gonna do. WNBA minute, no notes. I'm not even gonna look at the notes. I'm just gonna top of the dome. If I need help remembering some teams, that's all I might need. Bottom of the league right now. Salute to the Dallas Wings. They're getting it together. With the addition of Odyssey Sims, that has changed the complexion of the team. Natasha Howard being back too. Don't over or underrate that. That is properly rated. Because Enrique always is going to be Enrique. I need a pause. I didn't breathe. I didn't do the thing that David said. Catch your breath first. I came in
I'm
hot.
with you.
So yeah, let me take a deep breath. All right. The LA Sparks, right behind them, or ahead of them. They just got Azurá Stevens back. That right there will prove, I promise to God, Azurá Stevens coming back will cancel out the loss of Cameron Brink because I feel like they are about the same type of player, same position. But with Talbot getting hurt the other night, that really hurt as well. But so keep faith in the LA Sparks. If you're an LA Sparks fan, I see you guys. Ari McDonald, welcome back to the league. Welcome back to prominence because she is in the mix. Salute to the team. Moving on, the Atlanta Dream. The Atlanta Dream got a lot of work to do. You feel me? In my opinion right now, they might. I'm not gonna say that. I love my Dream owners. I got faith with you guys, but we've had a lot of injuries this year. Like we got Ryan hurt, we got Neighborhood Canada hurt, Jordan Canada. We got a lot of people just on the team just not ready for the championship this year. And I see Paige around the corner. I'm not saying we should tank for Paige, but I'm just saying I'm not saying that either. Salute to the dream. We're going to get it together. Above them, I done talked the bed out. We back. You dig me? Above those, the Washington Mystics. The Washington Mystics are not their record. I repeat, the Washington Mystics are not their record. Big Mama Steph is in the building. Salute to her. They got key injuries as well. Shakira Austin, B. Sykes. Oh my God, B. Sykes. If B. Sykes come back, the Washington Mystics are a top 5 team right now, ready to go. Also, moving on, congratulations. I'm going to go a little higher in the standings. Congratulations to the Minnesota Lynx for winning the Commissioner Cup. Holy moly. Salute to Lil Feezy, a.k.a. Nafisa Collier. She won the MVP, the Commissioner's Cup MVP. Even though Bridget Carlton should have won that MVP that night because she put in 23 points and it was really the reason. But get well soon, Lil Feezy. She had a leg or ankle. I'm not sure, right, but she's sitting out right now. So it's going to take Bridget to step up again. It's going to take Courtney Williams. It's going to take a team collaborative effort. And salute to my big Dorka Yuha. Salute. Dom?
I don't know. That might have been like 3 minutes. W got a lot of minutes. I got one question for you to close it out.
Sorry.
No need to apologize. That was plenty of W. Can anybody knock off the Aces? Is there any realistic chance? Let's close it out. Is there any team that can beat the Aces, or is it a foregone
Aces or the
conclusion?
field? Who you got, JuJu?
It's the New York Liberty doing good and the Connecticut Sun doing good. And I want to congratulate Angel Reese also for goddamn breaking the record. She broke Candace Parker's record, 13 double-doubles in a row.
Double-doubles.
Also, Caitlin Clark, she did her first triple-double in history by a rookie. So I want to get to them sisters first. But the Connecticut Sun, they also got something to say about the Aces championship title run as well as the New York Liberty. I think the New York Liberty going to go and win this year. Salute.
Ooh, we call an upset alert.
Salute to John Quayle. I love you.
That's the field.
Yeah, that is the field.
Aces versus the field. He took the field.
Well done, Chris. Nice job with the music.
Sorry.
Chris was
You
so
were great.
Chris was so self-satisfied that entire time.
What?
He
I
was
didn't do
like,
anything there.
No.
That was all JuJu.
It was just like, look at the music that I queued up. And it
I
was,
feel like that's the least of the important things he's done so far today, trying to keep this house in order. I think he did a great job with it, but it's the WNBA minute that mattered more. The content of what JuJu said was better than the music.
And I got to sharpen that up. I feel like
you
I
did.
was rambling too much. I did too much low, and I should have went straight
Well,
in
is
high.
Jessica's F1 minute actually 60 seconds? Because the 2-minute intro to the show, as an example, is not 2 minutes.
It's the fastest 2 minutes in all of sports, actually. That's what they
So
say.
is Jessica's F1 minute 1 minute?
It's yeah. The bet is about a minute, give or take, David.
So the WNBA minute
a
needs to...
lot of bed
Yeah, it needs to
talk
tighten
this
up.
segment.
Needs to
WNBA
tighten it
minute
up.
has a lot of work to do, and I'm sorry look, I'm going to do better, guys. I got your back next time.
I love the end, though, because what struck me about the WNBA recently, did you see the vote counts for the All-Star game?
Nope.
Yes,
So
yes.
the vote counts
Multiples larger than it was last year.
6X.
It's
700,000, 600,000 for Reese and Caitlin. And last year, the top vote getters were in the 60,000 range.
Right.
That is, that's a major, major thing. You're vibrating. Everything okay?
Yeah, just phone.
It's been a couple times.
And the All-Star game being in Phoenix this year is a big deal because Diana
maybe-
Taurasi gets to go out on top.
JuJu Gotti is trying to explain to everybody should appear as extreme and deep WNBA knowledge. He's trying to squeeze in a million things and prove that he actually watches this league. And David Sampson is going at Dominique over his vibrating phone.
I'm incredibly distracted by the fact that it's happened not once, but now twice. And it's been vibrating the whole table. Do people not know you're working now?
Have a little focus, man. You can fight through a little phone vibration.
You know what vibrates the whole table? Kalia Copper coming down the lane when BG's right there. Salute to Skylar Diggins Smith as well and Seattle Storm. They are looking good.
Do you have full credibility when there's no one you don't like?
What does that mean?
Is there a team that you don't like in the WNBA or a player you don't like?
Yes, absolutely. But I'm not sure that this is a great topic because you know how we sit here and say Darvin Ham should be fired, and we get into the microphone and say, James Harden, you're fat, or James Harden, you're doing this. We haven't reached that level, in my opinion, that we can actually say certain things to these women, these powerful women.
I want to get to that level.
Right, and that's why I'm teetering that line because there's a lot of changes I could see being made, but I don't want to harp on. You know what I mean?
You want to get to a world where we can tell the women they're fat? What are we
No,
talking-
not that. No.
All right. I
No.
want to talk about, since we got we're coming off the Aces, one of the best teams, constructed teams in basketball. At some point, I want to talk about Pablo's boy, Daryl Morey, who is either the most overrated or underrated GM in all of basketball because he manages to put together really impressive teams time and time again, but not really make it or never make it to.
Why are we slandering? We had another segue there. Speaking of James Harden, let's talk about the guy in Daryl Morey who has seen the future of the game, I think, as clearly as anybody has.
And said it's not James Harden.
And said, in the end, I'm going to need to move on from this James Harden guy. It's remarkable what the Sixers have done. So for people who aren't familiar, the 76ers were, and this is a great graphic we've just put on screen, but the 76ers entering this offseason had one move to make, and if they did not make that move, they would have been totally fucked. And that move was signing Paul George. And so for people who aren't familiar with what happened, Daryl basically went all in on, I can acquire this guy by trade in this new version of the collective bargaining agreement that has changed the economics of the NBA. And if I can do it, then I'm back in the game. And if I can't, I am, in fact, deeply, deeply overrated. And so I think the question is, like, did Daryl Morey, did Daryl Morey have on the line his entire reputation this offseason? And I think he salvaged it by getting Paul George, while also getting, by the way, an Ocean's 11 roster of guys that he keeps on assembling for one more job.
Yeah, it's got to be Ocean's 12 or 13 by now. He's been doing it far too many times, but I do think
Ocean's 8. He hasn't won anything.
He hasn't won anything, which is why I said he's overrated and underrated, because the moves that he makes are like the initial James Harden move is incredible. And then managing to put together a team around him that was competitive despite the fact that no one thought it would be. Impressive. And then moving to the 76ers and really putting together a team that seems like a real Eastern Conference contender right now.
Yes.
Despite the fact that Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. And he did it after putting together a team that we thought was the Eastern Conference contender the time before with limited assets. So the strategies of Daryl Morey have seemed pretty sound and impressive and sometimes even innovative. But the results, which is interesting to me that you say that.
I like Daryl Morey.
Yeah, he hasn't won
I do.
anything.
But what? I'm just curious, and I may have it wrong because I didn't know where we were going. Does he have a ring on his finger?
No.
I have the Sixers. Why you're so up on the Sixers?
you
Has that
playing
process been
Pablo?
trusted?
He's been to one conference finals. I
Conference
believe.
Finals.
Pablo,
Yeah.
do you think the
West,
Sixers team gets out of the second round?
Yes.
I
Really?
do not.
You
I
think they're
do.
better than the Knicks or Celtics?
I think they're better than the Knicks, and I think that and look, so we're in this era where there's no real big three as a trend anymore, and the Sixers have the greatest big three in the NBA. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George is the greatest big three in the NBA.
I'm going to give an over-under and a wait to see. So we're going to mix nothing personal with the Le Batard Show. What is the total number of games that Embiid, George, and Maxey will be in the starting lineup together out of 82? I'm going to set the market, and then you go over/under, and we're going to remember this clip when the NBA season's over.
Okay.
45.
Over.
Okay.
I definitely think they go over 45.
I
But
think this Olympics don't help though. Like with
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, salute to wanting to play, but brother, last time we saw you, you had one eye and one leg. So like, brother, like take a summer off. If I'm a Sixers fan,
yeah.
It's outrageous that he's playing the Olympics. I would not have, if I'm the Sixers owners, I am not allowed. I don't want him to get 1 minute of playing time.
He'll
during
sit
the
out
Olympics.
versus Serbia.
Yeah. I mean, there won't be a ton of pressure on him. Like
Sorry,
that's,
Serbia.
I think
I thought you did that. That's why you said it.
you know that it won't be a ton of pressure on him. I think that it's partially the experience for Joel Embiid. I'm not sure. I get the point that you're making.
He's injured every year.
I get it.
But
But I don't
it's-
think that this particular thing is going to be deciding factor. He's injured every year. He's going to be injured again. That's the deciding factor in their season every year. Whether we're going to say Daryl Morey is a genius or is a failure is going to be based on whether the player who can never stay healthy in the postseason can
But
actually
you took
one
the
time
over of
stay
45.
healthy.
So you
Yeah.
assume he's going to be not out for half the season.
I don't think that was a hard call to take the over on 45.
What would have made the hard call? 65?
Yeah.
That's the easiest under of all time.
No. Look, here's my thing with Daryl. I want to be clear about this. It's not that I think he is like a super genius. I just think he is super savvy about the rules of the game. And he is the classic example of somebody who the league office has to worry about when it comes to somebody exploiting all of the ways that a team can be innovative around contracts, around how to pay guys, around how to build teams. And all of that is also existing alongside a very basic observation around how Daryl has operated, which is he fetishizes stars. On some level, like the very basic math of the NBA is the story of the most advanced math guy in the same sport, which is that in an era in which it's harder to get stars than ever because of the changing business of the CBA, the reason they got Paul George is because the Clippers said in a press release, David, that was stunning, the CBA prevented us from re-signing.
That's not what they said. That's not what they said.
What'd they
I
say?
led nothing personal with this morning.
What'd they say?
They didn't. They said that having bringing all three guys back was a priority they wanted to do, but the constraints of the CBA, not the rules of the CBA. They could have done it. They could have gone into an apron with Ballmer. They absolutely could have. They didn't feel it was necessary or appropriate to pay George what he wanted because he took the 4 years, 212 with the
That's what I'm
no
saying.
trade.
I'm saying that the math of the CBA has incentivized a cheapness among even the richest, literally the richest of the NBA owners.
He loves his stars and also the same 7 guys that he signs at every team, everywhere he goes, every time. And they're
He
not
does. Can
gonna
we have
win.
that graphic again? Just
It's only on for like 5 seconds each time it's on, or 2 seconds.
Pablo, it's not just stars, though. He fetishizes foul grifters. And that's the thing that's why Daryl gets so much shit from NBA fans. Because it's not just that they're great players. They're guys that are trying to cheat the rules.
Yeah,
and then don't play well in the playoffs.
He's okay. So the playoffs thing, look, when the Rockets missed 27 3-pointers in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, that is a choke job that I cannot spin. That should have been Daryl Morey's best chance at a title, and they missed 27 3-pointers. When it comes to Joel Embiid and James Harden, I have been an enormous critic of how much they have made their own beds quite messy when it comes to how they performed. It's been an enormous problem. So the question for me is, how do you improve the hand you've been dealt with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid? You get the guy that you have not had since Jimmy Butler, which is in Paul George, a two-way wing who can defend the opposing star that is typically that position. They haven't had that since Jimmy.
Well, he's going to have to get to the finals and win, or else he's going to be general managing and
Zerbia.
All right, yesterday, your man Novak Djokovic knocked off Holger Rune. Right? Did I get it right?
Rune.
But before we get into our Joker talk, I would like my man Chris Cody hit me with that Stat of the Day music.
Start of the day, it is your start of the day. Start of the day, it is your start of the day. Start of the day, it is your start of the day. Start of the day, it is your start of the day.
Stat of the Day brought to you by Miller Lite. All right, this is the stat of the day. Novak Djokovic has made it to 60 Grand Slam quarterfinals out of 75. Nuts. So I assume that most of you guys are aware that Novak is not a fan favorite. He's been a dominant player in, how many years, Charlie?
About 18 years, over 20 on tour. He became completely dominant in 2011. So 14 years of dominance.
I mean, that stat is insane.
Yeah.
That's an 80% success rate to make it to the quarters of a Grand Slam. And are you counting of the 15 that he didn't, the ones he wasn't allowed to during COVID, where he didn't play at all?
Not counting those.
So that's not counting those.
Yeah.
60 of the 75 Grand Slams he's played.
Yeah.
But that brings us back to Dominique's question of like, this guy isn't really well liked.
Yeah, like
right?
at some point, even the guys who we in all of sports who get on our nerves, if they're good enough, eventually we construct a story around them and we start to love them. He's still getting booed. And like when LeBron comes to your town, you may boo him, but you're showing up to see LeBron. It feels like Novak is never quite got to the point where.
But he's not getting booed. He's getting rude.
I thought it was Rune.
Like, that's the thing here. Like, there's a whole thing. We can play the clip. So this guy's last name that he played yesterday is Rune. And after any time that guy would do anything good, this world has an obsession with the oon sound. So if your name is Rune, when you do good things, we're going to yell Rune. We don't do it with Matts for some reason.
Matt.
It doesn't. For some reason, we do it with oons.
We
Now,
have
my question.
Do we have
Hold
the
on,
sound?
hold on,
Do we
hold
have
on.
the sound?
Before we play the sound, I just want to point out the reason why people are obsessed with Rune is because it does sound like ooh. It sounds like play the clip. You can judge for yourself.
Hit it, guys.
There is no one who is more unlike LeBron James's description of Bronny James than Novak Djokovic, who is in a sport, Dominique, where booing is not allowed, and so he is objecting to the idea that they're getting away with taunting me under the rude.
Is he aware
loophole.
of that? Does he know of our world's obsession with that sound?
I disagree
No.
with you.
It has nothing to do with him. They weren't booing him.
I don't agree with Novak Djokovic on many things, but I do know that he's not well liked and that they don't like him. And maybe they're ruining, but I think more than ruining is the support of Rue. More than that is like them wanting Novak to know they don't mess with him, and he's fine with that, which I love. What's wrong with having villains in sports that are comfortable with it? He played that role perfectly. He talked trash back to him and hit him with a snappy comeback. At what point in that match do you think he was like, you know what, I'm gonna hit him with after this one? I'm gonna hit him with that good night.
Well, he crushed him. To be
That's
fair,
great.
He took out his racket and played it like a violin after winning a point towards the crowd.
It's outstanding.
I want it to be the
Outstanding.
world's
He's a
smallest
joker.
violin that he played, but he played it on his racket.
On his racket, across his shoulder. Like a true maestro.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's kind of shaped like a violin. But at what point in the match do you think he started, I guess around the violin time, when he started thinking, oh, I'm going to cook these losers. You can't touch me. That was awesome. I loved it.
I love that he's acknowledging it. I do wonder, though, whether he is also just caught in a perpetual hamster wheel of his own
Creation.
of his own insecurity.
So the thing about this, a lot of the Djokovic personality dislike was from when he wanted to be loved. When he tried to be funny and disingenuous and had this sort of A-Rod-like persona. I'm coming to crash the party. I don't care about beating Federer and Nadal, but I really want you to like me. The last couple of years of Novak has been far more interesting and authentic because he is never more dangerous as a tennis player, as this tennis mercenary coming to vanquish everyone, than when the crowd is against him.
That said, I don't think they were booing him at Wimbledon.
So okay, I guess
hear what you're all
I would
saying.
have booed his ass. As soon as he was like, yo, it was a mistake. I would
Right.
have been like, Rue, get out of here.
They're going to boo him now.
Right, I would have booed the hell
For
out of
sure.
him.
So now when he plays his quarterfinal match or his semifinal, is he in the quarters? Because right now, Alcaraz, your guy, is playing the quarters. But
Up a break.
So Djokovic plays tomorrow in the quarters. He's going to get booed.
I think so. I
the
guess
king.
my point is it doesn't matter whether they're saying Rue or boo. I think the sound that they're making is meant more for Novak than it is for Rue.
Are you saying I need to hear the ruse in the previous round? That's what we need to do here.
Yeah.
I
If
need
only
how
there
hard-
was an EP who could summon such video evidence.
I mean,
Look, the Joker,
thought of it right now.
you throw rocks at the crown or at the throne, not from it. So just let it slide, Joker. You're the Joker. Like, you know what I mean? Let him rule.
I gotta admit, I appreciate it.
I now care about his next match. I mean, that's the story of Djokovic to me is the story of a guy who started off wanting to be liked, then realized I'm never going to be liked, and now I'm going to be somebody who engages with the public in a way that, look, I have rooted for trolls. Joel Embiid is a troll, but to be this good and also somebody who is taunting the crowd, it's a truly dangerous move that you can't really do unless you're one of the greatest players of all time.
It's also the way he wins these matches against these people, too. He makes it death by 1,000 paper cuts of torturing his opponents. Like Andy Roddick described Novak Djokovic as first he takes your legs, then he takes your soul, where he extends these matches over and over again. So you get to tennis fandom's interesting because it's for an individual person. There are each of these top players has like a Kobe Stan type of fan base. And he gets to suck the life out of all of those fan bases point by point for 5 hours when he's playing like this.
Are they combined as big as Ronaldo?
No.
Djokovic
No.
plus Federer plus Nadal.
But it's
They're better at their sport.
but I
In
would
heart, they are.
I would imagine, though, that there is no more sport that is underrated when it comes to how hard it is to be good at it than tennis.
I think all professional sports are hard. Being around athletes, how could you agree with what he just said as a professional athlete?
I think-
Like as in,
So I think there are levels to the challenges and how difficult professional sports are. I think tennis is difficult in a way that some sports are not because I think tennis doesn't appear to require as much hand-eye coordination as it actually does. I think when you think about the spin of the ball and understanding how to, Charlie's a really good tennis player. I think your brother was also a really great tennis player. So I've learned a lot about tennis since I've started to work with Charlie, and I can't do it. Like I can get to every
Did you
ball.
play ping pong?
Oh yeah, I would whoop you.
I whooped his ass.
I will with both of y'all.
Let's do it. Get a
I'm
table.
not sure that any
David's
of you
really
will
good at
beat me
ping
at
pong.
all, but
David is
the,
good at ping
the
pong.
spin that you do
Yeah.
in ping pong, the slice, the
Right.
top spin. So in theory, you'd be able to do that in tennis.
It's different with a bigger racket.
No, but
it's
you're-
I
more
think
professional
David is
athletes.
encapsulating my point
I guess-
about why this is an underrated
Yeah, I don't
sport.
think we need to get into the details of how difficult particular sports are, but I think because we're like our American perspective, tennis is not something that we care about nearly as much. And I don't think the way that their athleticism is demonstrated is not as loud, I would say, as like a 360 dunk or Randy Moss taking a ball off someone's back. But I do think, and Carlos Alcaraz is the reason why he's my favorite to watch, is when I watch his highlights, they don't look like tennis highlights to me. They look like NFL Combine highlights. I'm like, damn, who is that?
Right.
That is crazy.
And to that point, whenever
Yeah,
TFO faced Alcaraz the other day, bro, TFO was up. I'm like, And when he was up a set or two, I'm like, that's Alcaraz though. And like you said, it's that mental game of it. It's like you mano y mano against that monster over there.
Well, David and I might have been wrong here because I'm looking at a highlight reel from Rune playing the previous match,
Yeah.
and I listened to like a 30-second clip of him winning points, and you just hear cheering after. You didn't hear a lot of. I could play it. I don't know if it's going to be great audio, but you just hear a montage here where you hear afterwards a lot of cheering. No, not a lot of ruining. No ruining there. Zero ruining, and then they're doing another one real fast here. They're
I
hitting
think
it
they
back
just
and
would have
forth.
started to boo
Here it comes.
Djokovic now.
You hear Rune?
Nope. Not
All right.
No.
Not a lot of ruining.
The reason they're doing it is because they have an excuse
Right.
to boo Djokovic. It seems like the only thing that's been ruined today, actually, has been your argument.
Nice.
I could have used like a
Nah.
nice sound.
I
like
wanted to sit there.
You know, like, da-da.
I believe that I will be a far better Dan chair sitter than either Pablo or Dominique. And the reason I feel that is I don't appreciate the way you've treated Chris Cody today. Calling him out the way you have. It is very hard to sit in that chair.
You're saying I ruined him?
I think that you are criticizing him in a way by expecting him to do things. He can't read your mind. You have to prepare people to help you.
Can I allow everybody in on what's really happening today?
Zerbia.
What's really happening is that David has proposed topics. He wants to take over the chair tomorrow that Dominique is sitting in. He is actively, you may have noticed in his complaints about Dominique's vibrating phone, that he just thinks that everything has been subpar because he's not in charge. And he's trying to talk about baseball now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody else wants to talk about baseball, but he wants to talk about baseball.
I'm down to talk a little baseball with you, David, but I do think that you've had a lot of topics on the rundown that have been avoided, and I think we need to actually address the issue at hand. Don't try to come from my chair. Don't try to insult Pablo's hosting abilities. Let's just be honest. Your issue is your topics don't get well received. We're in a pre-show meeting. You throw out topics, and everyone smiles and nods, and then we get to the show, and nobody brings them up. That's your issue. So let's do it. Baseball is down, baby.
The pre-show meeting that I'm not there at all because I'm doing a different show.
perfect point. That's why your topics don't make it. All right,
so
we're here.
why I send the topics in advance? Is that what you
See,
mean?
this is what I'm
Paul
talking about.
Skenes is an all-star, ladies and
can we
gentlemen.
talk
Are you
about
looking
the
for a
fact-
baseball minute?
Man, this man
Oh,
wants
wait,
a
wait,
baseball
wait.
There
minute.
to be. Do you have music?
Splinker.
There's my EP. There's my EP.
That is the whitest music ever.
See what I'm doing here.
Yes. I feel like that's at a carnival.
All right, David, let's hear your freestyle.
There's a man named Paul Skenes. The fact of the matter is, no one know what he means.
Oh my God.
His girlfriend is far more famous.
Okay.
But you better believe it, on Tuesday, you may see his Uranus. Because Paul Skenes may start the All-Star game being the first man to ever do it that way.
Cook it.
Okay.
I'll be watching, eating my curds and whey. That is the MLB.
This man just run way with way.
W-H-U-I and W-A-Y. That to you, my friend. We lost JuJu.
Oh, I think he died.
he's-
I think you murdered him. I think that's the first death from
He-
bad rap ever.
He worries about murder way more than I do, and this is what murdered him.
That was awful. I mean, awesome. All right, but seriously though,
It is amazing. Paul
hold
Skenes,
on.
if you've watched him pitch, do you know who that is?
Of course I do.
He's
the guy
better
with-
than Cooper Flagg.
He was the guy.
huh? Well, yeah, he might be actually.
He's performing
Yeah,
at the big league level
Yeah,
today.
He might actually be better than Cooper Flagg.
I'm just reeling from what just happened.
I
so.
can't believe how quick you were to anything I say. You want to go against it,
Yeah.
and yet your brain, like
Yeah.
you were like on 2-second delay there.
But I do acknowledge when you're right. My immediate reaction is David's saying something. It's probably wrong. I'm probably gonna hate it. But then I caught myself. I was like, you were right.
This curds and whey eating 65-inch has a point. Can you convince us, though, why Paul Skenes is worth actually being impressed by? What's happening here
I
that
can't.
makes it...
It's
Okay,
listen.
very
He's
good.
never been. I'll tell you. The reason he's getting this attention is he is the first ever #1 overall pick in the draft to be an All-Star the following season. But what really people love about him is that he throws 102. And what people really love about him, he is the Travis Kelce to Olivia
Done.
Dunn's Taylor Swift. And I will admit I'd heard of Paul Skenes. I had never heard of Olivia Dunn. And she's got over 13 million TikTok, some crazy number. She's a social media influencer, an incredibly talented, attractive woman. Paul Skenes is very talented, but not exactly in line to be on the cover of GQ.
Nice. Yeah, speak for yourself.
And they,
Yeah.
well, I'm not
mustache,
in line
baby.
to be in GQ either. But they have combined to form this incredibly popular duo. And they're doing all these things, and it's really good for baseball.
So if you were the president of the Pittsburgh Pirates, which drafted Paul Skenes, how are you handling this specific combination?
The thing is, you can't take advantage of it now. That's the problem. On days that he pitches, you may sell more game day tickets, but baseball, it's a lagging indicator. When there's success, you can increase your season ticket prices for the next season. You can get more season ticket holders the next season. It really doesn't. When you've got like Fernando Mania, that is an old reference to just about everyone. That's, if Dan were here, he would call me out on that. The Dodgers had that. We had it in Miami with Dontrell Willis.
Yeah.
He actually sells more tickets, but only the days he pitched.
Like, is it like Zoe's Summer Groove?
What?
Nope.
Miami Heat? Sorry. Back to you, Dave. Sorry about that.
No, that's good. That's fine. So Paul Skenes is a phenomenon, but MLB wants to put him on a bigger stage, so they named him as an all-star.
And people are mad about this.
Because it's not clear that he's earned the right to be an all-star.
Whether you're looking for him on a bigger stage or at a baseball game, if you want to go see Paul Skenes, you go to the Game Time app. And you can get great tickets for Pittsburgh. They're coming to Florida soon. You can get them down here. I'm going to go see Paul Skenes. I want to see that mustache in person. And if you do that, download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed.
I just used the app twice in the last week, and I love doing it.
You get the view I love the view where I can see where my seat's going to be.
I love that it's all in, so I see the numbers.
Yep. No hidden fees.
And I got tickets for my daughter to go see a concert with the Sag Harbor guy who got pulled over. Justin Timberlake.
That's what he's known for. That's what everyone does. Word association.
A double point was vicious, boy. I wish that people who weren't listening, people who are listening, not watching, man, hit them
with a way and a way.
And there's something else I just did on Game Time app. It really is a great app, and not just because they're our sponsor.
So, can we go back to Paul Skenes for a second?
Yeah.
You are not someone who is shy about his opinions, but I didn't hear your opinion on the Paul Skenes to the All-Star game decision.
He is an All-Star this season.
Right.
In the short time he's been up, he has proven to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. It may line up for him to start, and I think MLB should start him because it would be greatly entertaining, and we would draw from a different audience than we would normally draw for the All-Star game. The old fuddy-duddies are upset about it. There's no question. Baseball's full of old sort of people who don't want to upset the status quo. But Skenes isn't this outrageous personality. Right. So he's not out there looking for attention.
Baseball also isn't good about highlighting their young stars often, right? So like last year, Ellie De La Cruz was like a huge story when he got called up. He was one of the top prospects in the minor leagues. He got called up in like early June. So they had the opportunity to make him an all-star just to kind of highlight him while the nation is watching, because it's a slower time in sports traditionally, right? It's like SB week. So like that's a game where you can highlight young stars like Paul Skenes, and baseball in the past hasn't been good about including them. So because Paul got called up a month and a half ago or whatever it was, there was some question, is he going to make the All-Star team? Is he not? Because he's lived up to the hype, right? And it's been incredible.
Which is hard to do.
He was the number one overall pick, and he had the rare path through college baseball. Then he, goes into the draft, and the minor leagues was a joke for him. He quickly made it up to the majors, didn't even spend a full season in the minors. And then he, you don't get the guy often that lives up to the hype. It was compared to Strasburg when he was called up, and Bob Costas was on there saying he's a Hall of Famer, like on his first start ever, which was absurd. But he also lived up to the hype at the moment. Then they shut him down early in the year. So, it's going to be interesting to see Paul Skenes' career and how it plays out. How do they manage him? Do they put him on a pitch count? What do they do for him this season? Is he going to wear out his arm throwing 150 miles every time he throws? Because, his first start, he had 9 of the 11 fastest pitches by a starting pitcher that season. He throws it hard, and he's lived up to the hype so far, so it's good that they're including it.
And here's the problem. They're not going to make the postseason, the Pirates.
No, so at some point you would think they're probably shutting him down.
I'm shutting him down because while I'm excited that this has happened, I want to try to be good next year. If I'm the president of the Pirates, I'm taking advantage of his pre-arbitration years when he's making only the minimum. I get 3 years of it, and that's it. This is year 1. So next year, I got to try to put someone around him, maybe sign a veteran arm, maybe someone not Chapman, someone better, because I want to try to win with Skenes before he gets too expensive.
The worst thing that can happen is that Paul Skenes gets hurt this season on a season that's not going anywhere for him, right? But he's also the story of the Pirates this year, and he's the story of
kind of
this other sect of baseball where you don't necessarily care about the Pirates or care about baseball, but you care about Livy, and this is Livy's boyfriend, and look how good Livy's boyfriend is. And Livy yesterday announced that she's going back for 5th year in college.
Livy's
I don't know what that
not
has to do with anything.
That's something.
So what do you do? What do you do with him?
She tweeted.
He's the story, but this is how baseball works, right? They shut him down. Max Meyer was up for the Marlins, and he was doing incredible, but this is somewhat of a lost season. This is a lost season.
In AAA.
He's been terrible, and then you've had the managers come out and they're like, well, what's going on there? And they've said he's had trouble, I think, adjusting to being sent back down. When he was having good success in major league level, because they want to conserve his arm, they're then using those innings in the minor leagues where he's still pitching, and it's the whole thing.
They're so full of it. They got service time back.
The part of this story that's really interesting to me, the micro of it, and the Paul Skenes specifically is interesting. But we've had a conversation yesterday a bit about how much marketing played into the Bronny selection and how that's going to be part of the entertainment property that's offered by the Lakers and, frankly, the NBA. When Bronny plays, it's going to be on a national televised game. And if he gets the chance to play with his father, which I'm sure he will, it will be a big deal that leads all of this. And I think part of what is risky about that is there is some value in the illusion that this is all just straight sports in the way that it felt like it was in high school, but I recognize that it is entertainment. So I guess I'd like you, David, as someone who's been behind the scenes in probably our most resistant sport to accepting that you have to entertain it or turn it into a little bit more entertainment. What are those conversations like when you're trying to do that?
There was a whole thing called Let the Kids Play.
Right.
That was not more than a couple of years ago.
Campaign, yeah.
Where baseball really tried to get it,
right.
make it
I don't.
younger and more
No, I remember
popular.
that. I guess my question is, there has to be pushback on the other side because there has to be, in their defense, there has to be a balance because you don't want to turn it into professional wrestling where everyone's like, this is all for show. But I guess I want you to tell me about the conversations when you're thinking about adding a pitch clock or you're thinking about trying to add some new entertainment properties to the game, and who are the people that are pushing back and why?
It's the balance. Well, the biggest people who push back are the old traditionalists. And it's funny, like a John Sherholtz was involved in the start of instant replay.
The Braves GM.
The former Hall of Famer. John so do people not, is that another name that is not known?
Is that not how he was most known, as the guy who was running the Braves?
John Sherholtz to you is a foreign name?
Yeah, but who cares?
Interesting.
You said it.
So
He cut me off in traffic once, but neither here nor there.
So I believe that the biggest problem I had in baseball was trying to do things that were different that would change the way the game was actually played.
What's the most different thing you tried to do?
Make it so anyone can hit in the ninth inning, out of order.
Okay.
So you could have
Wait, that was our show's
Imagine
idea.
You
if
could have. That was done by me way before Stugotz, way before you, way before everybody. That was 15 years ago.
Wait, so explain it.
Yeah.
So basically, you have three
It
outs in the
all,
ninth
it all
inning.
happened because of Derek Jeter.
Did you have smoke coming out of the dugout?
No, it all
That
was
was our
Derek
idea.
Jeter related, and it all happened in 03 when Derek Jeter. When I first saw the video of the World Series, there's a video that comes out, and there's a picture of Jeter in the ninth inning just staring and looking out because it wasn't his turn to bat against Beckett. And I always thought to myself, what a stupid sport that your best player, assuming Jeter's your best player,
Right.
doesn't have a chance. It's like, and the equivalent was, can you imagine Jordan not being allowed to have the ball down one with 10 seconds left in
This
the
is
game?
why the Ohtani-Trout matchup in the World Baseball Classic was incredible.
One of the great moments ever but you could manufacture that moment every single game. And if you can manufacture it, why wouldn't you do it?
And so tell me about the pitch. Who'd you make the pitch to, and how was it responded to?
It's within an owners meeting, within a committee called the competition committee.
Right.
And the response was, it was put on a list, put on the special list. The list of things.
The David Sampson rejected ideas list.
It wasn't just me, I would say, but you need 23 votes to play.
And the resistance to it, though, was
It's not our sport. That's not who we are. That's the beauty of baseball. That it comes up in the eighth inning, your best player, that's when he comes up. And then the other team has to figure, do they want to use their best pitcher in the eighth inning, not the ninth inning? And my point was, when games are on the line, it's always different. You can say, this is the biggest moment of the game in the seventh inning. I don't agree with that. The biggest moment of the game is always at the end in the ninth inning.
But that's like too drastic of a change for the way Major League Baseball works, right? Like that's something that you would see they implement in like a season in like the minor leagues, which the minor leagues then becomes like the experimental ground, or like an all-star game, because the all-star game in baseball is also interesting because there was a time that it was taken seriously, and then there was a tie, and then this one counts, and then that determined. The World Series used to alternate year to year, National League, American League, National League, American League. Then there was the All-Star game, the Bud Selig in Milwaukee ended in a tie, and then they're like, well, now this isn't being taken seriously, so now we need to make this count. Then they have the Home Run Derby that's changing the rules every year. Every year you're watching the Home Run Derby, you have no idea what's going on. So, like, the All-Star game's a game where you could experiment, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, the World Series went back to alternating sites, right? National League, American
League. It's done by
hasn't?
record now.
Oh, okay.
It's now home field in the World Series is the best record of
Okay.
the team who plays. How much in advance do you need the Home Run Derby rules to enjoy the Home Run Derby? Like, do you need to study them and know them, or can you just be told as you're watching the broadcast?
No, I mean, I think me anyways, I usually figure it out like the third person that's up, right? Because
they
like
go through it.
there's I know they go through it, but I'm ordering pizza, I'm doing something,
We're
I'm
not-
sitting down.
We are never, as a population, listening to the part where they explain the rules.
Exactly right.
That's on you then.
Like the Elam ending in the NBA All-Star game. It's like, wait, why did the game just stop?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.